All right, so I have been waiting anxiously for Troy to come in and do that because I didn't want to get bogged down in walking through all the steps of how that thing works. When we start doing the live streams in the afternoons, it's going to be just a simple thing to point at his video and say, hey, the creator came in and did a webinar, go watch that. You'll understand how to use the program. I get it when you look at the price tag and you think, geez, it seems like everything we want to do when it comes to the market, it's 50 a month, 50 a month, 50 a month. Here's this thing, 100 a month. If you get it for the year and you use that affiliate link, it's $300 for the year. My one iron condor strategy, and I got 18 strategies, but just the one iron condor strategy covers that. So if you guys have watched my morning briefings, if you've heard me talk, I'm not a big fan of just going out and buying stuff just because I have the money to buy it. When I first started trading, I signed up to everything: Seeking Alpha, Bloomberg, FinViz, Trade Ideas. I had everything and I couldn't use 90% of it. One, I didn't know how to use most of that stuff, but two, it was just, I had too many things. So when I started cutting things back, the only things that I kept was stuff that I could point to and say, well, this thing made me money and I'm going to use that money to make more money, or I'll use that money to pay for the product and then I'll make more money. So I'm really particular about what I promote and what I use, what I personally would spend money on, for that very specific reason. I have to be able to prove that I'm not just spending money on a toy, that I'm spending money on something that's going to make me money. When COVID hit, I had to shut all of my strategies down. All my automatic systems stopped. And that was a very large part of my portfolio that suddenly just wasn't growing anymore. Thankfully, I was no longer using that to pay the bills. But what if I had been? It shut me down. I've still been able to trade. There's still plenty of ways to trade. But these mechanical systems, the way that I like to use them, I don't have to do technical analysis, and it doesn't matter what kind of market we're in. Trade logic fits. We just have to know what trade logic to use in different market environments. And I think he did a really good job of explaining why normal backtesting sucks. That end of day data, that doesn't work when it's my money. I'm not putting my money on the line for some end of day data that would get me stopped out, and just cost a fortune in trade fees and loss. I've already brought back my mechanical iron condor on my side. I'm already using it. So we're back. There's so many trades we're going to be building out in the next few months. And I say months because it's going to be a process. I first have to show you guys what the gold standard looks like around the world. What would a weekly iron normally look like? And then what was I using before COVID? And then, okay, well, now we got to make changes. Let's make changes. And one of the questions that I seen asked during that presentation was, too bad there, I guess it was a little more of a statement. It was more of too bad this won't point out the best example out of all the examples that you just ran and save that one for you. Yeah, but best for who? Because sometimes I'm more interested in the win rate and sometimes I'm more interested in the money, right? So a lot of my strategies don't use a stop, and that's my own personal preference. But if you're on the sell side of the market, a stop is usually a really bad idea. So you're basically going to just eat the loss. If you've been trading options for a long time, you'll know that it gets to a point where it's beginning to lose, and it'll happen so fast. You'll look at it and you think, I'm already down 85%. There's no reason to close it now. I may as well just leave it on and see if it comes back again. And surprisingly enough, they come back. They come back more than they don't. So if you take the stop loss off and you just let it run, you are now going to be very concerned about what your win rate is, right? Because now it's not about risk reward. And on the sell side, it's never about risk to reward, right? It never is. So that's a perfect example where win rate becomes more important than portfolio allocation. I was running my iron condor back tests and it was doubling the portfolio in 6 months. Now, imagine that, right? Not based on technical analysis, not looking at the candles and drawing trend lines and trying to figure out, where we're going to be next week, based on the metrics that I use, which doesn't use any of that stuff, doubling the portfolio. But if there was even one loss, man, that hurt, right? Because it's a big loss. It's a max loss. Now, we know in the real world, none of us would probably just let a really big trade go to zero and eat it, right? We would roll it, we'd manage it, we'd do something to adjust it. We wouldn't just eat it. But he said it perfectly. You want to handicap your trades. You don't want the pretty rainbow picture of how good it could be. Tell me how bad it could be. That's what I want to know. Right? I already know what good looks like. Good would be Scrooge McDuck swimming in the money. I want to know what horrible looks like. What's the worst case scenario? So I think you guys are going to really enjoy and profit by the way that we're going to be using this going forward. So just wanted to put my 2 cents in there. Now that he's done these, I've got a new class that I'm starting up. And so I'm going to have to adjust my days for when we're going to do the live streams. But I'm looking for at least 1 day a week, preferably 2, where I come in the afternoons and we run these back tests and we slowly build out my 18 strategies again. For all of you, well, for most of you, because some of my clients in the coaching community, they already know what my strategies look like, but this will be new for all of you. It won't be just, oh, well, here's a video that says use these metrics. It'll be, let's walk through the metrics step by step, understanding why we make an adjustment, why a setting is in there to begin with, and then what is the outcome? Do we like the outcome or not? And then we turn the knob, make some adjustments, so that by the time we're done, if my risk parameters aren't your risk parameters, you'll know how to change it. You'll know what buttons to turn, what metrics to look at, so that you can dial it in a way that suits you better than it suits me, right? Because you're trading your money, you're not trading my money. So I'm really confident that if you don't get it and you're watching the streams, you're going to be kind of stuck in left field, missing out, and then not having the tools to be able to keep up with what we're doing. I think we're going to aim, it's a short week, and I don't have my full schedule written up, but I think we're going to aim for Friday afternoon for the first, I don't know what you want to call it, first webinar, right? For the first meeting. I'll have more specifics on what time of day Friday. And if we can get another one in before Friday, we'll certainly do that. Otherwise, guys, hope y'all enjoy your evening, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.